It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day here today. I noticed that my bleeding hearts are just so beautiful. They've come out. It's early spring here. So I cut back the lavender, and I did that to give the bleeding heart a little more room to breathe and to bloom. It was quite crowded. I hope that you are able to find places and spaces where you can feel renewed, where you can get rest, and where you can be inspired to create. One of my favorite places is my garden, and I feel so fortunate to have a workshop that looks out over this lovely space. Hello everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I wanted to catch you up today on a journal that is getting wonderfully full. It has that great feeling of accomplishment when I'm holding it, because I know it holds words and pictures and memories, and really these beautiful junk journals that we make are manifestations of things that we're thinking, things that we want, things that we're doing every day. You know, my style of journaling is to add a little bit of junk to things. You've already seen the butterflies on the outside. This morning, however, I added another pen. This is a kilt pen, and again, it's just pushed through the fabric spine between a couple of the signatures that are sewn inside. You got to be careful when you're pushing these pins through. I don't want anybody to get stuck. I was very careful with this, and it took me a few minutes, honestly, to get that in the right place where it was safe and I didn't get stuck while I was pushing it in. I love bottle caps. These are a couple that have come from recent drinks. I love Reed's All Natural Ginger Ale. It's got that burny sort of gingery taste. This bottle cap is from a Snapple drink, and I love that they have quotations inside or little factoids. This one says, Australia is wider than the moon. It's the real fact number 1464. Let's just do a quick flip through. Perhaps a lot of this you've seen already, but I keep going back and adding things page after page from the start to the end. So there might be a few new things since you've last seen this journal. I added a digital to my shop this morning. I love these old-fashioned images. Here are a couple more from that collection that I'm planning to put into the journal. I just stitched this one on top of some paper that I loved and glued it underneath this leaf and on top of these. I like the look that gives on the inside cover. My garden is starting to really pop. I did some gardening the other day and planted some seeds. I cut things back. I brought out pots and started to clean up. This came from a garden book that had some lovely pages. It's an old Reader's Digest book. So I just glued this on top of the page at the corner, and it kind of overlaps the little drawing that I did, the little watercolor painting. I have April 5th, 2021. The garden is bursting forth in springtime. And again, you can see the junk journaling, the true junk and trash that I like to bring in. The Simple Truth tag is from some organic cereals. It's a brand, actually, the Harris Teeter brand of organic items in their store. And we do love the Simple Truth cereal. I also like that quote. Sometimes just telling the straightforward, simple truth is the answer. And I don't mean telling the truth versus a lie. It's always best to tell the truth. But sometimes I think we want to rationalize things. I've made a big decision about my life this morning. I'm going to face that head on this afternoon. I've got to have a discussion with someone. And for the last 24 hours, I've been trying to reason with myself. How am I going to explain this? What am I going to say? How do I rationalize? In fact, it actually turned into a nightmare last night, and I do plan to share some about that in the next video. But I saw this morning and I said, just be honest. Just tell your simple truth about the decision you've made and move on. I love this quotation. You might have seen that, but it bears repeating. You are the artist of your own life. Don't hand the paintbrush to anyone else. That has a huge bearing on the decision that I made over the weekend. You've seen a lot of this. and this. I came across some little fairy cards recently, and I love to be able to have a space to just write a note to myself. This is a blank card. I do plan to put some journaling in here, but for now it is just gorgeous sitting on the page. I used a Tim Holtz clip. I've done a little bit of stamping or stenciling with this ribbon, something that I love using. It's a metal ribbon. I like to just lay it down, use a brush on top, an ink stamp, just whatever. We're getting into some new trash journaling on this page. I love the labels at Trader Joe's. They are so much fun. This label came off of a package of paper towels, and I love that she is holding her fan. It says no chlorine bleach. I honestly love the way Trader Joe's pulls in things like this. This is a flip out page. It gives me more space to journal, and that's one of the things I love about this setup of journal building. It gives me plenty of space to add pages, and when it's full, it is just absolutely delightful to go back through an art journal or junk journal like this. These are some things from my friend Jennifer. I did move this card around to this side because on this side I have some packaging that had the cellophane front or the clear plastic front, and I put one of these old images behind. I love pairing the old with the new. I just think that is so adorable. That cap that she has on is called a mob cap, M-O-B. I'm not sure why they were called that. My mother makes them, so I know what the old patterns were called. I've added a food label to this page. There's a beautiful card from Jennifer, and then underneath you can see my package where I had some Easter chocolates. I added a spoon to this page. I love the way this turned out. It's a cutout of a spoon with the cereal, and that's the cereal that we enjoy. Maybe you can see why. It's grainy, it's got some bulk. I really like it. Again, here I've added another flip out page, and I'm going to put some hole reinforcements here. I'm just not sure yet which ones I'm going to use or what I'm going to use. I have some ideas about this. I love using the small metal rings to add flip out pages. You know, you could put several on this and make a book within a book. Here is a cutout from the Reader's Digest book that I was just speaking about. It tied in perfectly with this video because it is the Dicentra or bleeding heart, and the bleeding heart is blooming in my garden right now, and it is so incredibly beautiful. This might give me a chance to stop and talk about how things are going with the jelly roll. Let's see, I'm going to put April 4th because that was yesterday. That's when I was outside admiring the bleeding heart so much. I do really love these jelly roll pens. They are amazing. They are indeed ice cream smooth on plain paper, but I don't feel like they are the best pens for writing on top of mixed media projects. It seems like they just won't roll sometimes. So I'm still trying to figure out what I like best. I really love Sharpies, so I think I'm going to invest in a really nice set of fine tip Sharpies. For this page, I used a stencil, and I used just an ink pad. Maybe we can add, let me show you how I did that. You just hold it into place, run the ink pad over the top. You kind of have to pay attention to using the little corner of the ink pad to get into every little groove. It's dry enough that it doesn't work its way underneath the stencil in a huge way. But it's also messy enough that I like the outcome. You know me, I like that kind of thing. I'm going to pull this card out for a moment. That's another blank fairy card that I plan to use. And I'm going to come back to this. When I used my stencil to get the butterfly, I then turned it over and just laid it on the page to get the rest of the ink. But now I would like to go back and blend what will still run. We're not going to mess with the bee that I just stenciled, but I think this will make the bee prettier, and it'll make the bee stand out a little more. We will just put this here for now to be able to move on through the journal. That is a beautiful ink stamp using the mustard seed that Jennifer sent me. Jennifer, I'm so hooked on this color. I mean, it's just incredible that I love this so much. I plan to do some more here, but I'm just showing you for now where we are in the journal. Let's keep moving. I actually just took the tie out of this. I love that bookmark that Jennifer sent. I think I'm going to trade it for a tie that I like a little better, or a tassel or whatever, something that fits the journal more, and I will put this to the side. Don't be afraid to change things up in your journals. That's part of what makes it so much fun. This page I'm planning to journal on top of. Again, it's another beautiful image from the Reader's Digest book. I love the terrarium. I love terrariums in general. It's got the beautiful mustard seed, of course, running in the background. You remember this probably. You're only as good as your next layer. I have more to do on this page. Here is a coffee package. I love using these as pockets. I do plan to add some more color around, and we will put something really fun in here. I have an idea for that. And I believe you've seen this and this. There are a few little things in here that they're just receipts and labels. But that's where we are for now. I wanted to just catch you up on where we are and talk a little bit about how I journal every day. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.